guys, it is Charlie's. I am back. I am back. I am back. I know it's been quite some time since I've done a blog post video, but I got a couple planned for this month. And today's blog topic, is single and satisfied. Single and satisfied. So, yesterday I had gone to the beach with a couple of my friends, and um, before we left, there was a part of the conversation um, that got to the point of being about being happy. Do you ever feel lonely? And do you ever feel like, do you have like the urge for companionship? Because I guess, I don't know, for some reason, a lot of people don't believe that you could be fully single and satisfied in your single season. And so I kind of want to address that question on how do you get to that point, and because I feel like for a lot of women we find that because we are single that there is something lacking, or we're missing something, or that there is a void that needs to be filled. And I kind of want to go get into that deep dive deep into that subject area. So, single and satisfied, is that possible? It is very much so possible. It is very much so possible to be single and satisfied. Now, for me, for those of you guys who may not be familiar, this may be your first time on one of my blog videos or on my page, or just seeing me for that matter. My name is Charlie Shay. I'm a writer, director, producer, and author. And kind of for me, everything that I'm doing right now, as far as like business related books, from Adult Trade, it was my very first book. All of that came from a relationship that I went through, and it was my first serious relationship, and we were dating for some time, and I found out that he was married with a child and family and all that kind of stuff. And that situation literally made me do some crazy self-analysis. Maybe it forced me to ask some serious questions to myself. And when I asked myself some of these questions, and I look back upon my past dating history, I really recognized some things, some detrimental dating patterns for me in my life that kind of got me to that point. And what I also realized was there was a void in me that I was hoping to fulfill by being in a relationship. Because ever since I was a little girl, I don't know why, I always had a desire to be in a relationship. I don't know, I guess because of society, these movies about the princesses finding their perfect prince charming, and that kind of whole ideal. So I don't know, I had that urge, I had that desire, even since I was a young girl, to be to be in a relationship. So I always had that void. And then what it made me realize was that there was a void in myself that I needed to be filled. And in order to fill that out, sought relationships, or I desired to be in a relationship to feel that validation, the validation to fill that void. And what I come to realize after going through that, and really going and really being so desperate to the point that I called on God. And I remember, just his hand on my life ever since that moment, and him really filling me up. But it was also my desire to get to know him more. And what I had to realize was, and this is another topic for another day, for later in the month, but how to really get that relationship with God, that'll be another topic. But for today's topic, what I come to realize was, once I broke through how I perceived God in the past, and really got to know him for myself, really started to get into worship, really starting to pray, really starting to just be open and honest. Because what they don't tell you is that, God really wants you to ask questions. And again, I'm getting to another topic, but he really wants you to ask questions. Like, don't be afraid to ask him. He knows your thoughts. He perceives your thoughts. He knows your thoughts already. So there's no point of being, if you can't be open with God, you can't be open with nobody. So once I opened up and asked God these questions and started spending time with him, I remember, and then denying some of my past dating, some of my past, bad habits. Once I did that, I was able to experience the presence of God, the peace of God, and it literally, this presence really has just taken over this happiness, this joy. So again, this single, you can very much so be satisfied and single if you seek God's presence, if you seek to really get to know God, because it's like a joy that came upon me. And then even to this day, even though, I go through certain instances in life and, you face certain trials and tribulations, that constant joy, that constant happiness is always, it's just still there. It's like literally like right here, y'all. It's like this joy feeling like right here. And it is the Holy Spirit. And so I definitely encourage you guys, how do you become single and satisfied? Really get into God. Really ask Him some questions. Really ask God. And if you don't have a heart for God, one of the great things that someone told me to do is literally ask God if you're willing, if you're tired of trying to go all. Hey guys, I'm back. My computer kind of timed out on me. But again, if you're tired of going from relationship to relationship, you're tired of trying to, fill this void with things that are so temporary, what we ultimately need God to fill that void. If you're tired of doing that, really seek His presence, seek His face, ask Him questions. He wants you to answer. He wants to answer your questions. He wants to show Himself to you. So do that. And I guess even more so practically, what do you do so when you're faced with those moments where you're just like lonely in your bed? And I know for a lot of people, you may have been in a relationship, that's probably all you've known is have somebody in the bed right beside you. That's probably all you've ever experienced. How do you defeat those lonely moments? How do you rise above those lonely moments? How do you find, combat those thoughts? So I'm going to give you 4 practical things to do. 1, you have to guard your heart. You have to guard your heart. Everything you do flows from your heart. Everything you do pretty much flows from your heart. So you have to guard it. So for me, I had to, really be mindful of what from social media, whether that was, unfollowing some people that had lifestyles of, just being out and about. And, even starting out when my heart was a little bit fragile about, from those people that might have had happy relationships, what I had to do was literally kind of like unfollow those people, really hone in and guard my heart. So again, if that's your social media, unfollowing people, if it's not watching romantic comedies, romantic movies, if it's not watching Love Jones and Brown Sugar and all those types of movies, that's what you have to do. Let me tell you, I love a good love movie. I love a good love story. And, but what I had to do in that period to really get into God and to really kind of reshift my mindset, I had to stop watching some of those movies because when you get to watching those movies, you get to being like, oh my gosh, I don't have a man, that type of deal. So you have to guard your heart in that way. So that's again, unfollowing people, watching what you're watching, paying attention to what you're hearing, music. Sometimes you got to turn off that Flowetry, that Erykah Badu, the Jill Scott, and I love their music. I would listen to that on repeat. But again, always being cautious of guarding your heart. So once you do that, you want to be able to control your thoughts. And I know a lot of people may say this is easier said than done, but it is. You say it and you do it. Control your thoughts. So as soon as that thought comes in, pops in your head about, when am I ever going to be in a relationship, or it's just I'm never going to be in a relationship, or I'm just lonely. As soon as those thoughts pop in your head, you got to fight them. You got to fight them immediately. And as soon as you do that, as you continuously do that, you find it becomes easier. Because now, as soon as a negative thought pops in my head, I'm like, nope. I changed it. I shift the perspective just like that. You really, and some people say it might take a lot of work. Originally, it might be because, a lot of times we're not so cognizant of our thoughts. We allow our thoughts to take over our heart. And, for next thing we know, we're in this big old funk about everything's compounded. Not that we're just lonely, but things that happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we compound everything. And then we're just in this funk. But as soon as that thought pops in your head, you have to combat it. And this is where affirmations, this is where reading your word, this is where, really pouring into your heart the right things, the way God really sees you, not the lies and things like that. Really combating those thoughts immediately. Again, starting off, it may be a little difficult. You might feel like, this is just a lot of work. But listen, I'd rather do the work than feel how I used to feel. When those thoughts used to come and I used to be in a funk and then, not really on my best game. I'd rather do the work. And then you'll find out as time goes on, it becomes a lot easier. Your mind is retrained. So those negative thoughts come few and far between. I'm not saying the negative thoughts are not going to come, but they'll come fewer and far between because your mind, your brain is already accustomed. Your heart has the truth. So that's number 2. 3, you got to fill your time with purpose. Okay, fill your time with purpose. After I broke up with the guy I was dating, I had a lot of free time. I had a crazy amount of free time. So initially, right before, I would say February of 2016 was really when, me and God went to like a whole nother level. But prior to that, initially, right after my relationship, what kind of saved me and, helped me stop being in those moments of being in the funk and really those thoughts entertaining my mind, entertaining my heart. I filled my time with purpose. Now, for me, again, I always wanted to write a book. I'm a director. I'm a producer. I love film. I love telling the stories. I use that time. That was ideal time to put myself and put my energy into a project I always wanted to work on. I started writing a book. I always wanted to write a book ever since I was a little girl. I know you guys probably heard it a million times, but legit, I filled my time with purpose. Now, for you, yours might not be writing a book. Yours might not be starting a business. Yours might be traveling the world. So go do that. Use this time. Take this time. No better present time than right now. Take that time. Go on a trip. Go do something that you've always wanted to do. Whatever's on your bucket list before you leave this earth. Like, do that. Do that. Do that. If it's volunteering, if you wanted to go on a mission trip, go do it. Go do it. The time is now. This is perfect opportunity for you to do what it is you always wanted to do. So fill your time with purpose. Number 4, spend time with God. And again, at the beginning of this blog video, I mentioned that you ultimately, really, truly, what gives me that happiness, what gives me that satisfaction, that fills that void that I had previously, and even so in my relationship, because I wasn't even fully, happy and satisfied in it. But what really helped fill that void was spending time with God. Spend time with God. Throw on some worship music. Instead of putting on Jay-Z, instead of listening to Beyonce, literally put on some lovely worship music. I love Bethel. I love Elevate Worship. I love Hillsong. They get me all the time right here. Like, literally spend time with His presence. Turn on some worship music. Be honestly, truly, it's some moments that I just be down there desperate, just crying my heart out, pouring my heart out. And that's most times that's what it takes. So don't be afraid to take it there. Go there. Don't be afraid to spend time with Him. Don't be afraid to be honest with God. Don't be afraid. Do it. Because I guarantee you, when you're able to do these things, when you're able to guard your heart, when you're able to control your thoughts, when you're able to fill your time with purpose and spend time with God, this is how you find true satisfaction in your single season. And again, some of you guys still may look at me like, yo, I'm still lonely though. I still want a man though. Do it. Do what I'm suggesting to you. Just try it out. And I can almost guarantee you, if you are committed, but you got to get to a point that you're kind of desperate for this thing that, now, even when you do get that relationship, even when you do get that man, because you don't handle this, if you don't handle this void right now, this loneliness void right now, you're going to have difficulties even when you get into your healthy relationship or even any other relationship. You got to fill this void right now. You got to fill this void right now. You got to. So, again, number 1, guard your heart. 2, control your thoughts. 3, fill your time with purpose. And 4, spend time with God. So, that is all for today, and I guess a little housekeeping messages before I sign off. Adulterated. Shout out to the Adulterated. If you guys have not gotten your copy of Adulterated, my first debut novel, go get that. That is available on my website, www.charliesj.com. You can get your copy there, autographed copy, and surprising news. And late September, we will be releasing book number 2. And on the next blog video, I will be releasing the title of the next book. So I'm so excited. Again, if you haven't gotten the Doja Read, go get that. And if you like my tea, I don't know if you guys can see it. If you guys can see it, Act Like a Lady, Think Like God. Act Like a Lady, Think Like God. That is out and available now, so you can grab a copy. You can grab a copy. You can grab a shirt. You can grab a pillow, and that's also available on my website. So go check it out, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm silly, guys, but yeah, seriously, if this video has touched you, if some of these things has touched you, you feel like you can grab, practical knowledge from it, and really it'll be a benefit to your life. Share this with your girlfriends. Don't be stingy. And I will see you guys next